Okay, welcome. A quick heads up, yes, I am driving. Let me just pop the phone away. And I don't have my headphones on because the iPhone's plugged into the car so I can get Google Maps because I'm off to the Mind, Body, Spirit Festival. But I just realised I didn't publish the Wednesday edition of the podcast with the bite-size information in it. So I thought I'll quickly do that now for you. And look, I'm honestly just going to keep this short and sweet. Now, in the Ultimate Private Practice community, my free community on Facebook, this week I ran a free 3-day training on how to get clients using Instagram. So if you're in that community, you can go and have a look. There's day 1, which was Monday, 2, which is Tuesday, and 3, which was Wednesday. And the feedback has been so wonderful. People have already been doing things like updating their Instagram profile and changing the aesthetic on their feed and all those kinds of things. But I wanted to give you an extra little bit of information, an extra little perspective, because without this, it's going to be even harder. So I want to give you this so that you can get more clients, get more inquiries more quickly. So what I want to do is share with you right now something, it's a concept, and hopefully it's going to help everything make sense, right? So the reason perhaps that you are having trouble getting inquiries or bookings or referrals, or for those of you who are selling online things or even physical products, sales, like from your courses or your webinars, your retreats, your workshops, all those kinds of things, is because, you've gone ahead, you've made this a great website, it's starting to work, hopefully starting to work, but it's slow, and you're posting on social media. But here's the thing, the reason that you're not getting one of the reasons that's contributing to the low growth of the business, the low volume of inquiries, the low volume of sales, all those kinds of things, is because you're just not getting enough traffic. So you've created a service, let's say it's going to be a counseling service or your play therapy or something like that. You've got this beautiful website, but it's just sitting there. And you're not doing anything to drive traffic to it because, number 1, you don't know how. Number 2, you didn't know you needed to. Number 3, it's like, oh, really, do I have to? It's like one more other thing. I just want to do the work. Why are you making me do all of these things? So what I want to share with you is there are 2 different types of traffic, and this is really important to understand. 2 different types of traffic. The first type of traffic is called distraction traffic. Right? The second type is called intention traffic. So with distraction traffic, that's anything that you see on social media. Let's say Instagram, TikTok, your Facebook, those kinds of things. So what's happening is people are opening up the app and they're scrolling. Yep, they're just scrolling. They're just, dead scrolling. They're just there on autopilot, not really thinking about anything, not particularly searching for anything, but stuff's just appearing in their feed and they're reacting to it. They're having some kind of response to it, but they're not going in specifically looking for play therapy or counseling or social work or your OT services, right? They're just on there to unwind, to relax, to kill time, stuff like that. So they're not actively searching, not search-based platforms. What's better is if you focus on what we call intention traffic. So intention traffic is when somebody is actively looking for something, right? And this is why I say to you in that training that we did this week, sure, go ahead and have your Instagram, and provided that training because you're asking for it, happy to deliver that for you. But it's better to focus on traffic that's intentional. By that, we mean anybody who is actively looking. So they're on Google and they're actively looking for a therapist, right? That's great. That's why we want to focus on the website. It's because somebody is being intentional. They're typing into the Google search bar, that they want this service in this area for this problem or result. So websites must come first, because you are going to get a better quality of inquiry, a better quality of client from that intention base, because they want it. They're already looking for what you're selling. Other platforms that will bring you high quality inquiries, referrals, bookings, leads, sales, things like a podcast. So you're here listening to the Private Practice Podcast, right? That was intentional. You went into iTunes at some point and you were like, yeah, I need to get some information here about how to get more clients. And you Googled, private practice or something like that. This appeared. And so that's called intentional, right? Or maybe you came to my website. You came to my website because you wanted to see, do I offer supervision and mentoring? Can I teach you how to sell and create passive income online? Am I still offering business coaching and consulting? Do I have any free resources that you might be able to download? Whatever it was, you were intentional about visiting my website. You typed my name into Google and probably the word private or the words private practice, right? That was intentional. And if you go to YouTube, again, you have to search, right? That's intentional. It's just a better quality of traffic. So my guidance to you is always, always, always make sure that your website is high quality. Make sure that it's converting. So if you're a solo practitioner in private practice in Australia, on average, you want to be receiving between 3 and 5 genuine, good, high quality leads per week from your website before you go spending time on your socials. And in fact, I would say don't even spend time on your socials. A better way for you to build your practice is going to be with, after the website, it'll be something like a YouTube channel or a podcast. The second thing that I wanted to share with you as well, and we did dive into this in the training in the community that happened this week, but it's got to be, what you're sharing has to be good, right? You can't put crap up. You've got to make sure that whatever you're sharing is actually useful and helpful. It's got to be useful and helpful. So if you can, I know we can't all do this, but if you can you today, when you finish listening to this podcast, can you get up your device or go on your desktop and bring up your Facebook business page and bring up your Instagram page and have a look at it from the perspective of a client and ask yourself, is this helpful? Is this something I'm going to tell my parents about? Is this something I'm going to tell my friends about? Is this something I can share? Is this something that became a talking point? Was this something that is useful? Is this something I'm going to try? Do you know what I mean? Is this something that's actually going to have some kind of meaningful impact on your audience? Because if the answer is no, that's okay. You've got the awareness now of perhaps what one of the missing pieces has been. And I see it all the time when I do website audits for private practice owners, and I also do marketing blow-ups, right, where I do a deep dive into their social media and their websites. And oftentimes, not all the time, but oftentimes I can see really quickly that the reason that they're not getting inquiries from their social media, one of the reasons is because the content is just really low quality. By low quality, I mean it's not bringing anything useful that the audience can use. Do you know what I mean? So, for example, with this podcast episode today, hopefully you're learning something. Hopefully this is something you can discuss with a colleague or a peer or a supervisor. Hopefully this is going to drive you to take action by going and having a look at your own profile, or maybe it's going to cause you to take an action like, do you know what? I think I will put a pin in my social media. Maybe I will go and get ready to start a podcast. Maybe I can research that. Maybe I can research having my own YouTube channel, right? But it's going to get you to hopefully take action. And my intention with this podcast episode today, as it is every Wednesday, is to make sure that you've got something useful, meaningful, practical that is actually going to help you. I come at these Wednesday episodes from the mindset of how can I give them 15, 20 minutes of free coaching today, right? What would I tell one of my coaching clients who is in this predicament? What would I say to them? What would I suggest to them? So it's like free coaching for you, all these Wednesday episodes. So, and the thing is that we've just hit over 100,000 downloads of the podcast now. Now that's almost unheard of. I mean, considering I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not Joe Rogan. I'm not Amy Porterfield. I'm not, what's her name? Caitlin, whatever. I'm none of those people. It's just little old me here, 50-year-old me, sitting behind a computer or today driving in her car. And I don't have fancy intro music today. I don't have fancy outro music today. There's no show notes. There's no hashtags. None of that. But guess what? This is going to be a helpful episode. And you're going to come back and you're going to listen to the one that I do next Wednesday because you got something from this one. Right? Or if you're already saying, oh, this doesn't apply to me, I've already got a podcast that's converting, or I'm already getting enough referrals, you'll probably skip this episode today, but you'll come back next week because you know that what I share is useful. And the point is, your content needs to be useful. You don't have to have a viral reel. You don't have to have 1 million views. You don't have to have 10,000 followers. It's not about that. You get the clients when you share good content, right? So don't ever, ever, ever be afraid of sharing what you think is your best stuff. It was the same for me when I first started. I stuck with very safe things, very general things, because I had a fear that if I shared my best stuff, no one would work with me, because why would they when they get it free? But when I was able to get out of my head and just say, do you know what? I'm just going to give my best stuff anyway. Well, guess what? It had no impact. I didn't lose clients. In fact, probably I get better clients because they're on the same page as me now. They're on the same page as me now. And it's just made their life easier, makes my life easier. I don't have to convince anyone of anything. They're like, we heard this on the podcast and I've tried to do it and I'm having trouble, I'm getting stuck. Can you help me? Of course I can help you. Right? So what I found was when I give my best stuff, or when I don't hold back, if I don't say, oh, this is really good, but I better save it for people who pay me for a counselling session, or I better save it for people who book me for supervision, or I better save it for people who are going to hire me as their coach. People still hire me. I got it wrong. I thought that they were hiring me for my knowledge. I thought they were hiring me for what I knew, but it's not that at all. Well, it is in part. It's mostly they want help with how does this relate to me? How can I implement it? Can you show me how? Right? So most of the work I'm doing is, how do we make this idea, how do we make this concept work for your business? And I support them with implementation. So I didn't lose any work from sharing my secrets, from sharing my tips, from sharing my knowledge or my wisdom or anything like that. Okay? So if that's what's been holding you back, my advice is don't let it. You will get more inquiries and you will get more referrals and more bookings and more sales if you don't hold back. Holding back is blocking you from taking the business to where you really want it to go. So I hope this is all making sense, and I hope that this was helpful. If it was, could you please let me know one way or another? You can send me an email, support@brooklynstorm.com, or you could leave a comment on this podcast, or you could send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. On Instagram, my handle is @theprivatepracticecoach. But let me know if this was helpful, and let me know if there's other topics, other episodes that I could be doing for you that would also be helpful, because that's my goal. That's my purpose in life, to help you. It really lights me up when somebody takes something from one of these episodes, goes away and implements it, and then it works, and then they let me know. That lights me up so much. So let me know how I can help you and how I can serve you. And this is something that you should be asking your audience too, by the way. But anyway, thank you so much for listening and being part of my world and part of my community. I appreciate you so much. Thank you. Have a beautiful day. Talk to you next time. Bye.